Hey y'all, I'm back, because unlike Chantal's fake husband, I'll be hanging around Gorl World to the bitter end. FOODIE has gone full grift mode in the wake of her AI merch mess, advertising now sponsored videos on her community tab, complete with a PayPal link. The tone of this plea is something along the lines of, if you want to see me leave this apartment, buy me a coffee. She then doubles down on the validity of sponsored videos when questioned and pushes the merch a little more. I have seen some folks raising the question of the PayPal link and YouTube terms of service, but the bigger question on most watchers' minds continues to be, where is Salah? Or more specifically in this case, where's Salah the business owner? Salah the provider? Salah the one that she says pays all the bills and takes care of our passenger princess? She's told us many times Salah has enough income to support them both. They're very well off thanks to him, and that YouTube is just kind of her side hustle, just kind of some extra frosting, and she loves her beezers so much. That's really why she does it. Salah takes care of her financially, she's claimed, in the same breath as she's bummed money for everything from Burger King to a bag of cheap cat food for the strays that she uses as props. Now, of course, we all know King Beezer isn't bringing in the big bucks, or, well, probably any bucks at all, to be honest. And the Foodie Beauty channel is the main support for both of them. It shows in her diet choices. We all know she would much rather be eaten out than in. It shows in her reluctance to seek healthcare beyond emergency ER visits when absolutely necessary, despite having chronic conditions that need monitoring fairly regularly and need regular health care. It shows when she's shopping. It showed when she was shopping in Thailand at that mall looking for souvenirs and such and buying clothes. It shows in the Temu hauls. It shows when she went to Sephora and they got into it about what lip plumper or lip gloss or whatever she could buy because of the price point. There is very little money to go around between the two of them, and she's not in control of any of it, despite the fact that every dollar is made off of her back. In my opinion, as I've said from the beginning, this is a case of two people who tried to scam each other. Each told the other they were better off than they were. We know when they first got together, Chantal dropped about $9,000 into Salah's alleged business. My guess would be at that point, she may have even believed there was a business. And we all know she probably regaled him with tales of her $20,000 months on YouTube. What we're seeing here is the result of two grifters trying desperately to take advantage of each other, and now the pool that they're drawn from has dried up. And Chantal being Chantal, she can't admit she's been had. She signed her financial life over to him just to be claimed. And I think initially with the idea that he may actually use that money to grow a business. The veil's been lifted on that for a while, though, but because FOODIE can't admit she's been fleeced or that her channel is failing, instead we get a semi-dry e-bag for coffee. And may I add, $10 a day for coffee, while not unheard of, depending on where you are in the world, is either a lot of coffee with a lot of extras, or she's lying about how cheap life in magically delicious Kuwait is, or she's lying about the price and she's rounding up to skim a little off the top. In light of rule number 1, I'd say it's probably one or both of those lies, but I'm also not ruling out the huge coffee with every possible syrup either. Now, as I mentioned, she's also pushing even more merch with yet another company so she can offer even more items that no one asked for. Regardless how the merch does, even if it's popular with her audience, it's a small audience and none of this stuff is anything that you really buy more than once. Teardrop can only buy so many coffee mugs before she's tapped out. So now sponsored content is how FOODIE plans to make up the gap between what her channel makes and what she needs to spend to keep her totally real husband around, to keep the mukbang supplies rolling in, and to keep making those trips that totally aren't visa runs when she has to. I've said from the beginning, I don't think we'll see the back of Salah until he has a new mark lined up. The only way he goes is if he finds someone to give him $1 more than Chantal does, or she gets to a point where she costs more to maintain than she brings in. It seems as though that eventuality may be more and more likely. Chantal's been even more depressed and drained than usual in her latest videos and streams, which is saying a lot. And Salah's appearances are dodgier and more unpredictable than ever. So this has suggested to a lot of people that he's barely, if ever, around anymore, and the end is nigh. I certainly hope so. But regardless of the price of coffee, the financials of the happy couple, or what kind of content Chantal says she wants to make, we all know what happens when she gets herself into a sponsored video situation type deal. The feeders enter the chat, and the mukbangs get turned up to 11. And since she has less and less to say lately, she's been bringing back her ridiculous spooky story times where she half-asses her way through something she heard about secondhand and did no research on. You know, the ones where she's basically a low-rent Bailey Sarian, but with ranch dressing instead of makeup. Here's my highlights from Veggies and Dip and Chicken Tender Spooky Mukbang. All right, let's push the merch now, too. Awesome. Get your AI garbage here, folks.
Hey guys, hello. Welcome back to another video.
Oh, chipmunk voice again.
Okay. In this video,
yeah, this is a weird assembly of just random food she had in the house, 100%. All plopped down on what I think is actually a chip and dip tray, but she treats it like the little divided plates you have for toddlers.
I am having some air fried chicken tenders, some French onion dip, some lemon and cumin chips, carrots, coins, cheese, medium cheddar, and some celery sticks and cherry tomatoes.
Yeah, this is just the stuff she had left.
Bismillah.
This reminds me of the snack trays we used to make in college, broke, you know, just end of the month kind of, what do we got that we can make some kind of meal out of? And you end up eating macaroni and cheese and toast and strawberries and peanut butter, you know? What is this? Carrot coins, air fried chicken, chips and dip, which I don't know. I'm not a flavored chip and dip person. I think the plain chips are for the dip. But that's just me, you know, that's a personal thing. This is the butt of the cheese and the celery stalk and the like handful of like little veggie scraps that were hanging out, 100%. Also, these tenders are pretty scraggly looking too. Okay, carry on.
The gaming chairs in the gaming room.
Salah took it back.
Since my husband Salah will be recommencing doing some gaming streams, so if you want to hang out, even if you don't like gaming, if you just want to chat, you're bored.
Last ditch effort to get his own income because yours ain't coming in anymore, and he took his chair back.
Having a life like me, feel free. And yeah, so Yella, let's go. So this I'm going to be so in this video I'm going to be appealing to the small group of you who like these scary mukbangs, scary story time mukbangs. You know, I haven't forgot about you guys. I appreciate you guys, so this is for you. Let's try the cumin lemon.
This is not appreciation. You have nothing else to talk about, so guess I'll do spooky story time again and eat these scraps from the fridge.
It works.
Does it? Dip. Does the lemon cumin chip really work in the French onion dip? Because I don't know, man.
Oops.
I'll take your word for it. I'm not trying it.
I wanted to say dippy dippy because that Mariam, her Bowie channel, she does that.
Oh, Lord Foodie, no. Don't do it, Chantal. I'm not ready for the feedback loop that is Chantal imitating the woman that imitates her. I'm not here for that.
Mmm. The dip is just sour cream and French onion soup mix.
Those carrots look cooked. Are they cooked or raw? Raw carrot and dip, sure. I have never in my life thought to put a cooked carrot coin into French onion dip. But it didn't crunch, and they look cooked. I don't know. This is a very confusing meal. Maybe they're not.
Tomato. What I'm going to talk about today.
Here we go.
Have you ever heard about the Ohio State Reformatory? It is one of the most haunted, supposedly haunted places in America. So if you haven't heard about it, you're going to today. I don't want any dip for my tenders. They have like a spicy seasoning. All right, let's get into it. Ooh, spicy. Sometimes I just like fixing little things like this for dinner. So,
yeah, sometimes that's all you got.
The Ohio State Reformatory from a very famous movie called The Shawshank Redemption. It's a Stephen King novel, adapted movie. It was adapted from a Stephen King novel. Actually, it was a short story. Wasn't it called like Rita Hayworth or something like that? Anyway.
Yeah, there it is. She really looked into it before she started this.
At one point, it was actually built as a reformatory to send young teenage guys who, you know, were beezers, you know, pre-criminal beezers, and they would send them to this reformatory to try to reform them, as, you know, so that they wouldn't have to go to maximum security prison.
I don't know if I care for discussing the early 20th century juvenile corrections practices of this country, as these guys were just beezing and they put them in there. That seems a little disrespectful, ma'am.
And give them a second chance at life into adulthood. Now, I think it was built the late 1890s until the early 1900s or something like that. I don't remember the exact dates, but it was, you know, finished in the like about 1900, 1910 or something like that. And when it was first opened, it was a reformatory. And along the lines, the corruption happened, and it ended up being a maximum security prison. And a lot of bad stuff had happened there. A lot of deaths. A lot of people had died, inmates.
So let's dip cheese into onion dip while we talk about it. Good grief. Have some respect.
Guards.
I don't know why I ask that. She doesn't respect herself. Why would she have any respect for anyone else?
You know. And eventually, it did close down, actually, in 1990. And then in 1993 or 1994, The Shawshank Redemption was filmed there. They were going to destroy the building, but the Shawshank Redemption movie saved that. And now it's preserved. And despite its dark history, it's a very beautiful building. It's got a mixture of architectural styles, like the Queen Anne and Romanesque, Victorian kind of look.
She has no idea what any of those words mean. Define Romanesque. I dare you, Chantal. Point me out a building in the Queen Anne style. I'll wait. Good grief.
Hi.
This cat is only interested in her when she has food. Yeah, she's eyeing your chicken.
Maybe a little treat for the princess.
She's like, no, I wanted the chicken, mother.
Because it's reputably haunted, you can have they offer tours. They also offer like Shawshank Redemption movie tour, all that stuff. Now,
look at that cat. That is a cat that is plotting someone's downfall.
some of the hauntings reported in that building. In the basement, the most famous ghosts reported. One of them is a 14-year-old boy who was killed there.
Okay, great. 14-year-old boy killed in a prison, probably in a horrible way. Let's shove chicken tenders in our face while we talk about it.
Probably during the reformatory days since he was young.
You wouldn't know. You wouldn't look it up.
Security prison for men. His ghost or apparition materializes as a shadowy form that kind of flickers across the ceilings and the walls.
Pictures, articles.
But it's not a malevolent spirit. The reformatory does have some very malevolent spirits. One of those in the same spot in the basement being his supposed killer. People who go in the basement say they have just gives off a very foreboding energy when they witness this particular spirit. The East Cell block is the most famous for being haunted. Mostly auditory hauntings, where you can hear the, the soft moans and agony of the tortured souls there. Probably something like this. Oh.
Well, we're not going to bother to look up an article or an audio clip or video or anything like that, so I'll just make the noise here while I eat chips.
Apparently.
All right, Chantal.
Because of the cruel nature of the life there at the Shawshank. I'm going to call it Shawshank.
I mean, she's definitely one of those people where the movie is probably more real to her and more tangible to her brain than the reality. So, no surprises there that she's just going to call it Shawshank.
This is the best supper. It took me 5 minutes. Real chicken, too. It's a Kuwaiti brand. So good. So that's the East Block ghost. Now,
is it so good? Because you're not taking it down in your normal time frame. We're 10 minutes in. This should be decimated by now.
It gets creepier. It gets darker. You remember in the movie, The Hole? The Hole still...
Yeah, she is not into this meal. You can tell by the pace she's eating it versus how much she's talking between bites. Just compare it to something that you know she's craving, where she's come out and been like, I've been waiting for this meal, and she tries to tell a story or just get a thought out. When she's not feeling it, she'll talk and it'll sit there. She'll eat it eventually, but it's going to take her a lot more time.
Exists, and you can go and see it in the guts of the penitentiary if you're brave enough to venture down there. I'm not.
You're not brave enough to venture out of the apartment. Unless it's to go get coffee or go to the drive-thru because someone paid you to.
Those who have gone into the hole, who were brave enough, reported feeling nauseous, having an overwhelming sensation of dread, and it was really cold. The power of suggestion, or the ghost of a tortured soul having to live out their entire existence in the hole.
I wonder who she plagiarized that power of suggestion line from.
You decide. The one that creeps me out the most is the room with a chair. It's just a room with no windows and a chair.
So the thing that creeps you out the most is the staged room with a piece of furniture. Not the weird experiences, not the sounds and visions that people have reported. It's this. It's the set that the people who run the place clearly made. Okay, sure.
There's just something creepy to me about a big, ugly room with just a chair in it. I don't know what it is. But apparently, the ghost in that room with the chair is very malevolent. If you piss off the ghost, probably by admitting you're a Taylor Swift fan,
Okay.
it will get you. People have left that room with scratches. They didn't feel themselves getting scratched at the time, but when they left, they had scratches. And yeah, that's creepy to me because
Photos, videos, articles. No. Okay.
Don't look at me like that.
She really can tell a story, y'all, huh?
It's a true story. If a ghost just,
Even the cat's like, I'm not buying this shit. Give me some chicken.
manifests itself by flickering across a wall, who cares? Like, it's no danger to you. Maybe it make you go crazy, but it's not a physical threat. However, if it's scratching you, yeah, that to me is creepy.
If you get scratched in the haunted prison room, you get scratched for real.
Anyway, on top of that,
I wonder if it's the lack of ranch. I'm surprised it's not going into the French onion dip. But something's up. She does not seem to be feeling this chicken.
there was a fire there that killed 300 inmates.
Not the cheese in the dip again.
Were confined to an attic.
Ugh, the cheese in the dip is so unnecessary. I don't know. She needs to just get a spoon and eat the dip. We all know that's where this is headed.
Our sanitary conditions. It was just a place of many horrors over the years,
Anyhow, chips.
Oh, you know what I should have looked up? If the crew from
Anything
the
else?
Shawshank
Any
Kennedy-
more information? An actual story? Some kind of article? Some kind of video? Some kind of first-hand account from anyone who was like, yeah, I went there. I saw something spooky. That's what you should have looked up. But you tell us. You tell us what you should have looked up.
Weird experiences. That would be interesting.
You know, it'd be interesting if I actually looked up some things about the thing in my video that I'm making a video about. That'd have been cool. Anyhow, here's the video. I didn't do that. Would have been cool though. I hate this chicken. I summed it up. That's the video. How about it, Chantal? How about it?
You ever dip cheese in
No.
French
Can't
onion
say
dip?
that I have.
It's yummy. Anyway,
Cheese in the French onion dip is straight toddler behavior. Like that's something my kids would have done at 3-4 years old when they're in that everything goes in the ranch dip, like Oreos in the ranch dip, grapes in the ranch dip, because they're toddlers. This is a 40-year-old woman dipping cheese into French onion dip. I can't.
if you know anything about this place you want to add, comment below, but
I feel like at this point, just about any fact other than it's a haunted prison and was in a movie, which is, summed up in one sentence. Anything else than that, that's an addition. That's extra information. So yeah, if you know anything about this place, just say it, because that's anything else than what she said, which is the most basic bare bones of it. Of course.
I could visit that someday. Maybe I will. Alright guys, I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye!
Oh, rip chicken tendies from the air fryer. Those must have been rough. They looked super scrawny and kind of not a great doneness. I don't know. They seemed kind of pale, yet also very dried out. I'm guessing they were a cheapo frozen brand or something like that, because she was Clearly not feeling it. It could also have been the lack of appropriate dip. But, I mean, everything else on the plate was going into that damn French onion dip. I don't know why the chicken wasn't a candidate. Anyhow, that's all I've got for this one. I'll be back later this week. Probably gonna look at some more Doherty Dozen drama nonsense. So if you're interested in that, stay tuned and I'll see y'all next time. Be sure to like and subscribe. Y'all have a good one. Bye.
You watched it, didn't you?